Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety splicket. Go watch a movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 137. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
First and foremost, I wanted to say rest in peace to George Floyd. Travesty that happened as we're recording this yesterday, and it's just sadly ironic that we're covering this movie with this topic. Just RIP to him, and everyone be safe out there and try and get along a little bit better. But yeah, today we're covering the movie Body Cam. This is one starring the queen of R&B, in my opinion. I don't know if you feel the same way, but Mary J. Blige. New R&B, newer R&B, older, middle R&B, because you got Aretha Franklin and then back in the day. But yeah, but before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. So, Spawn, good sir. Spawn is back in talks by none other than Jason Blum of the Blumhouse Film Company. Now, they have been masters of horror here lately. This new wave of horror movies coming out, in my opinion. Some people aren't so happy with their films, but I think they are very clever with their horror movies, and they don't necessarily go down the normal tropes, which is something I appreciate. But yes, apparently he is in talks with a lot of people on remaking or starting up, however you want to phrase it, a Spawn franchise. You're looking forward to more Spawn or some Spawn, because it's been years. Spawn movie.
Absolutely. I think I like Spawn as a character. I think it's definitely got some potential to make some good films out of that.
Well, what do you think of the old one?
You know what? I still watch that occasionally and enjoy parts of it. I do admit it's a little too toned down from what, from the source material. I think it should have been definitely rated R, but
yeah,
but
there's no reason Spawn should be.
I mean, it's all we got at the moment besides the animated series from way back when.
Yes.
So
HBO did that.
Yeah,
that was a lot more graphic than the movie, which is sad.
Yeah. So right now, that's kind of all we got.
Yeah, and I'm a fan. And I want to see it. And I think with the way CG is now, I can see it beautifully done, and dark, but not like over the top dark. And I need to rewatch that one, but like as far as like darkness, like not just dark sensibility, but dark. Wasn't that movie very like hard to see, like very dark, like black dark?
Yeah, I think they did it to hopefully meet some of the special effects. Maybe needed it, so it didn't seem, because maybe they weren't the best or whatever. I don't know about you, but I remember going to Comic-Con and then we walked by and we saw the actor who played Spawn standing at his booth, and there was nobody in his line. And that picture of him just standing there alone is like it's just ingrained in my head. Every time I think about it, or Spawn or anything that he's in, I see that I see him standing there by himself with nobody in his line. That poor guy.
That is so sad.
I know.
I had forgotten about that, but now that's all I will see when I think of Spawn. But hopefully this new movie revitalizes that, and he can get kind of a resurgence. That movie comes back in the forefront, and he's done other things, but
right. But that poor actor, he's still going to be standing there at that booth with nobody in his line. It makes me sad.
But yeah, looking forward. Girl with a Dragon Tattoo is becoming a series on Amazon. Uh-oh. That was almost an inaudible Capone grunt there. What do you think, man? Like, I'm going to say this. I enjoyed that world, and I think aside from it becoming Nancy Drewis, her Sovereign Crimes or whatever, I think they could do some magic with it. What do you think?
I think the first one was magical. I mean, I think maybe we've mentioned this before. Like the Swedish version of the film for me was okay.
Mhm.
But a lot of people love that one over the American version, and that's fine. I kind of prefer the American version. I thought they did a really good job with it. I actually read the book because of that, and I thought
Mhm.
the first book was amazing. Uh, but then I watched the other two movies, like the ones I follow right after, and the storyline just kind of goes into a place where I didn't enjoy the story as much as I did in the first one, because I think there was that big mystery in the first one, and that's what held
Yes.
me in. I love the solving of that mystery. That was the awesome part. And then the other ones, they don't really do that so much. The ones that what I've seen anyway, they don't really do that. So if they tackle a series and then they go a mystery route, I'm all in. If it's like an X-Files type of thing where they got to figure something out, or even like a murder, like I don't know, I'm going way back when, like Murder She Wrote type, where they but with the with the girl with the dragon tattoo, I mean, that still could kind of sort of work, right?
Yeah.
If they go that
Uh,
route, sure. If not, no.
I could, yeah, I can see it being like very much like I don't know if you watched Elementary,
Yeah.
like that tone where he's kind of a go against the rules type. Well, early on he is go against the rules type of guy, but yet he's still solving crimes and helping the cops, because that character, but you're right, you're spot on. Like the other one's kind of, after that big mystery whodunit plot of the first one, became kind of action movies almost.
Yeah,
But
like a cross between action and these weird, like almost soap opera like dramas. Like you have a brother,
mhm.
and he also has a special, ability, and then you just may not have been your dad, and all this. It just gets into this weird place. So I'm just like, I don't know if if this is what I liked about the characters so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Amazon's doing pretty well with shows. There's quite a bit I'm watching on there, as far as their originals go. So we'll see. They have a lot on their plate, this Amazon company, but that's for another time. But that will bring us to, let's discuss the showbiz. Um, I don't want to sound preachy or anything like that, but selling out is a topic we hear quite a bit in showbiz, mostly in the music industry. But it happens, or is said to happen sometimes, in the film industry, or TV, film, I guess now YouTube industry as well. John Krasinski, yes, I know how to say his name now, don't have to look all surprised, is, we talked about his Some Good News show. Well, he just sold that show to CBS, and people are flipping the fuck out. Some people are understandably on his side, because he turned a pastime to help people get through this quarantine into a lucrative business. And so I've read a lot of articles about it, and some people are just thrashing him, dragging through mud, calling him a sellout. Why is he profiting off of this? Because most of the content is handed into him by people, and it's just good deeds they've seen throughout uh, the internet. But I say more power to the guy. I think the show's gonna continue. He's going to oversee it, executive produce as much as he can, because he has a Jack Ryan stuff and things like that. But yeah, more power to him. Why can't you create something? And the only thing I see why people are getting upset is he's not going to be the full-time host. He will be hosting some, but he won't be the full-time host anymore.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't use the word sellout here. What do you think?
No, I don't see any problem with it. I mean, I get people's point. However, why would you want to hate on somebody's success? I mean,
Yes.
people, struggle and do whatever. I know he's not really struggling, but I'm saying other people struggle, and then when they find their success, there's no reason to hate on them for it. I mean, let them ride that wave. There's nothing wrong with that. Whenever something good, just because something good comes from something, lesser or not as, big or giant or whatever. It doesn't mean that we should, poo-poo on it. It's like, what about the invention of soap? It's like, we hate on the guy who invented soap because maybe before then people were using something else and it wasn't as good. And now all of a sudden, oh, this guy made soap. Look at this big guy over here, Everybody's benefited from it. Everybody benefits from soap. So why hate on the guy who first invented it? You might as well just say, thank you. And enjoy, the success of that guy and this or woman, whoever invented it. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. I don't really care, but I'm just saying, there you go. Just enjoy the wave.
And I mean, this is a show that's all about good news going on a network that reports mostly bad news because, I mean, that is mostly what we see in the world today. But it'll be good to show, bad news, show some good news. This new show that is dedicated to showing nothing but good news, to shake things up a bit.
And that's a great idea. And it's going to have a bigger audience now. So why would you hate on that? It doesn't make sense to me. It's going to be helping people. It's going to I'm not going to say it's going to change the world, but it's going to influence people. And that might in turn, over time, change the world a little bit to make it a better place. People will start doing nicer stuff. So why hate on that? Yep. It doesn't make sense.
And I hop into that community over on Instagram, and it's just some good people, nothing but positive vibes on that page. But yeah, he interviewed with Rainn Wilson's show, the guy who played Dwight, Soul Pancake, and he said he only intended to do 8 episodes because of prior commitments, as I said, and he's happy that it's going to be able to live past those 8 episodes that he had planned for it. So yeah, more power to Jim Halper, John Krasinski. Yeah, just doing a great thing. And I've, like you said, the biggest thing here is more people are going to get to watch this show about good news, which is needed because there was one episode in particular that I thought a lot more people needed to see was how many people were getting released healthily that were diagnosed with COVID. You don't hear about that on the regular news. You just hear the death tolls. Right. But thousands of people are being released, taking off oxygen machines and going home to their families from, surviving COVID. And like, I was just blown away. And yeah, so that was some fantastic news. So yeah, some great news for you, John. That's fantastic. But yeah, just want to talk about the terms of sellout because it comes up sometimes in showbiz, like Fred Durst. But yeah, that will bring us to trailers. You first or me, sir?
Go ahead.
Mine today is an oddball one because of the guy in it, Becky. So Kevin James, King of Queens, funny guy, Hitch. We've seen this guy. He makes us laugh. He has an amazing YouTube show, and I'm so pissed that I didn't think of the idea. The sound guy. Have you seen this?
No.
So he will put himself as a sound guy, and he has an amazing crew, better than us because his background doesn't break up like mine does. But he has an amazing crew that will impose him into these movies as the sound guy. At the time, he's holding the boomstick, like he did one with I Am Legend. And like it was just so funny. There's the scene where Will Smith pulls up to find his dummy friend had been moved, and he's like, "What are you doing here? You ain't supposed to be here." And Kevin James is like, "Oh no, I'm just doing final checks. So if you wouldn't mind quieting down, Mr. Smith, like you ain't supposed to, and it's literally that scene, but he fits so well. Yeah. Anyway, check out the sound guy. There's a lot of them he has on there, but this is not that Kevin James in this trailer. This Kevin James has a swastika tattooed on the back of his head. He's a rough, mean-looking son of a gun with a big old beard, intense eyes, and he's hunting down a little girl because of some special key. We get a glimpse of him in prison, handing the guy a shiv. He's a bad dude. But there is even more of a twist. than just fucking angry Kevin James. This little girl who they come after, and I'm always one to poo-poo kid movies where the kid's the star, but this little girl is a sociopath, as it turns out from this trailer. So it's right up my fucking alley. So he has her house. He comes in and has some hate speech for the family because it's an interracial family with Joel McHale playing one of the father of this family. And he's like, well, if you guys won't tell me, I'm going to have to find little Becky. And Becky has a phone and she calls them and she's like, you want to find me? Here's where I am. And she's all badass and like goes full on, snapped Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. And this guy comes running at her on the dock. She set it up to where he falls on some tripwire. Then she smashes his skull in with a piece of wood that has nails in it. And it ends incredibly with them going face to face over a campfire. And he's like, look, Becky, still talking to her like a kid because I guess he hadn't seen the chaos she's involved in yet. Mm-hmm. He's like, look, Becky, I don't want to hurt you. And she's like, well, that's too bad because I want to hurt you. Then flame at him and credits. Man, it's good stuff. But that's my trailer.
I did see that one. That one was pretty good.
Right.
All right. Well, so mine is this weird cross between the movie Wanted and I think like Assassin's Creed. It's coming out on Netflix. It's called The Old Guard. I don't know if you saw this one. It's got it looks it does look, there's parts of it that look you don't know what's going on, but for some reason I think it's kind of a good idea. I mean, you have these I don't know if these people are immortal or what's going on. Yeah. And there's still some mystery on who, for me anyway, there's still some mystery on who they are and what's going on. So I'm kind of just excited just to finally get that, mystery solved from watching it. But outside of that, it looks like it's going to be, there's a younger person in it. So you're going to have the older mentor, kind of like in Wanted, but with a younger girl as the person who's getting mentored. And then a whole bunch of action, crazy action. And after seeing the last movie on Netflix with a whole bunch of crazy action, I'm kind of, I'm kind of hopeful that this one's going to be able to deliver as well.
And it's pulling that same not stunt, but move where it's that big action star, Charlize Theron.
Yeah, and she can definitely hold her own. I mean, we've seen her in some movies where she can definitely kick some butt. So I have some high hopes for this one.
The press releases that I've seen for it they call them immortal mercenaries. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it looks pretty badass. It looks way better than the last movie I saw, somebody regenerating, Bloodshot. But yes, so, that'll bring us to Body Cam. Watchbot, if you would not mind.
While investigating the murder of a fellow officer, veteran Renee Lamito discovers a mysterious figure in the body cam footage. Haunted by visions of the event, she suspects something supernatural is targeting the cops in her unit. Now, in a race against time to find the one person who can stop these killings, Renee uncovers a sinister secret among the police force surrounding the shooting and cover-up of an unarmed youth.
Thank you, Watchbot. So this, as I said earlier on, is we didn't plan for this. It just kind of fell this way. Body Cam, it's kind of a racially charged cops doing some bad things to some people, and the setting is like right off of a some bad crooked cops getting cleared of a charge, and it's Miss Mary J. Blige starring in it. I love the concept of this. We have that setting that I just described, but also a fantastic supernatural setting on it. Because when that first incident happens, it pulls you off guard. You're like, what? Especially if you haven't seen the trailer for this. Like, what the fuck? What is going on here? It's just turned from a cop movie, about racism to now we have something hunting down people and killing them, which we don't find out until later. But one thing I loved about this opening scene is the way they use the windshield wipers as this ominous noise when the cop pulls up to the van the first time. and it just worked for me. I felt that worked for me. One major complaint I'm going to have off the top, not complaint, something felt off. And I'm not sure if it was the dialogue or the way that dialogue was being delivered, but something was a little off about this movie for me. But those are my early first impressions. You, sir?
So I was one of those people that did not watch the trailer before I watched this film. So I had no idea what I was in for. I'm thinking literally I'm just going to be watching a movie about a body cam. I thought it was going to be like, what was the movie? Was it Crash? It was
Yes.
like some like I thought it was going to be like that. So that's how it kind of starts in the beginning. I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be one of those. I'm gonna get all I'm gonna get all choked up, and it's going to be this emotional moment, and then everything's going to hopefully work out, or people are going to realize we're all the same and all that kind of stuff. And then you hit the supernatural moment. And the first one anyway, and it's like, whoa, okay, I'm not watching that movie after all. What am I watching? So then I was intrigued. So then I was super intrigued. And then I will say that thing that you were describing that seemed off, I think I might know what that is. I hate to say it, but I think it may have been, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm just going to get a lot of hate for it, but that's fine because, that's what I'm here for, obviously, is for people to hate. And then I think it's Mary J. Blige. I think she is an amazing singer. I think she can write some great music. I mean, hell to the queen. But as far as her acting in this movie, I don't think it was up to snuff. I think it was a little. I don't know how else to describe it other than to make that sound and a funny face. Like I don't. It was because I don't want to say it because it's Mary J. Blige, but
exactly
it did. I mean, because there were so many good things. It had good lighting, good atmosphere. Like it did
good
have
story.
The story was decent. I was, but everybody around her seemed to act, except for her partner, seemed to act better than she did. Like the husband, really seemed heartfelt when he was talking to her and looking at her. And then even the woman who was the mother of the other child, not her child, she was, exceptional in all of her, her scenes. Super believable. I mean, nothing seemed off. Even the guy from Dexter. I mean, he just played the same old character anyway, but still, he did a good job. I mean, playing.
He is cursed to be a cop forever.
Yeah, he's gonna always be that guy. But then Mary J. Blige's character just seemed, And then she had a couple of forced moments where she dropped like an F-bomb, and then she called somebody a bitch another time, and it was just it seemed super off and weird, and not.
I am a cop, bitch.
It just seemed like I don't know how many takes they had to make before they got a good one, and they was like, "Hey, we just splice that one in because that's the best we're going to be able to do." It just seemed that was the thing that I felt was off in the movie. Everything else, I thought, man, this is actually not so bad. But there's just one giant elephant in the room that nobody probably wants to talk about. That's kind of ruining it. That was for me. It was her.
More drama. No. Oh man, this is hard.
And it had so many good things going for it. It really did. It was going down a really sweet path, but then it landed on Mary J. Blige.
Her shoulders. Damn it, man.
I hate to say it because I know I've said this before, like musicians becoming actors, and
doesn't work all the time.
It doesn't always work, and I don't want to be like it's the person that stops somebody. If that's their dream, that's what they want to do. That's the next step in their career. They should be able to go do it, and that's fine and dandy. But someone's got to be there to say, if you're doing a good job or not.
Yes.
And if you're not, then someone needs to put their hand on your shoulder, and in a non confrontational way, and just be like, you need to maybe go back to what you were doing before because you were great at that, but this is just not your thing. And there's nothing wrong with that because if I would like go do something else in my life and job wise and I wasn't any good at it, I would want somebody to tell me like you really suck at this. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that criticism.
Are you saying she really sucks?
I'm saying
or in this particular
I'm
movie?
saying her performance in this movie was the worst part of the movie for me.
tell me how you really feel.
I'm trying to be nice about it. I'm not just like, I'm not saying I could do any better. I couldn't. I would suck even harder than she did, but she was not the best part of this movie. I understand why she was in it. I understand why people were probably excited for her to be in it. And I kind of understand the role maybe she was trying to play. Cause like maybe like this, like she almost seemed emotionless in a lot of the scenes.
And that's the problem. She was supposed to be very emotional.
Yeah, and I thought maybe they were just going to try to go for like the strong black woman thing, she's the only one that's got the strength to be able to handle all this bad stuff that's happening around her, and more power to black women. They are, as far as I'm concerned, the toughest things out there. But yes. she just didn't portray that. She just portrayed kind of an emotionless person that couldn't act instead of what they were going for. I think, I don't know. I just was disappointed.
Which is insane because she puts so much emotion in her music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard that she couldn't find that range because
there was no range. It was just all this, like I said, except for those two forced moments when she calls somebody a bitch and then drops the F bomb. That was pretty much it. I think she had a tear once.
Yeah,
but then he went away and she was just driving, looking cool. Had her earrings in, and I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
I think, damn it.
I know.
It's hard, but yeah, she
didn't pull you out of the movie. Like when you're watching it, you were getting into it. You're like, oh man, what's going to happen next? And then she starts acting. You're like, oh. That
is what I was hinting at that I didn't want to say, but you've said it so bluntly, because you're right. You were getting into these scenes and you're like listening, and then every time it gets to her line, you're just like, your face is kind of squinches up, like, oh, that's what we're going with, huh? Mm-hmm. But anything you did like about this film? Because I like so much about it. I enjoyed, like I said,
everything else. Everything else was fine. That
I really enjoyed the visual effects they used for the spookiness. One question I did have, and now we're going to the spoiler territory here. Did he grow up like as a ghost? Because it wasn't that long in between his death and his hauntings. So why was he so big?
Because he was like this spiritual anger that was just floating around. So he's huge.
Okay.
That was just like, it's like when you go in the Matrix and you have like your what was it called, like your residual self-image. Like that was his angry spiritual, residual self-image, just that giant monster that wanted revenge. And then when he got it,
terrifying.
And when he got it, he shrank back into his little boy form. He was fine.
Yeah, that was
no more Hulk.
That was nuts. Like if they wanted to go another route, I can see that becoming like a franchise of that fucking thing stalking around. Because when she first sees him in that hallway, that was fantastic. Like I was like, what the fuck is that? Like I'm squinting, like, did I see what I just saw? And then she, flashes the light back. Very, very great scene. There's some awesome scenes in this movie. Awesome visual effects, and just like you said, the setting is wonderful. What's that? I love that boiling pot of that these cops have to also watch over their back, watch over their shoulders, because there's this ever looming presence of not just this creature that they're all trying to find a mystery about, but this the mob coming after them, the general public, but also her partner.
Yeah,
I have some depression issues.
I had a problem with her partner too. He was the second thing about the movie that I didn't like, and that was it. It was just the two of them, and the partner. I thought his acting was a little off too. I thought it was a little, but then I'm thinking, well, look who he's like playing against. So maybe he just couldn't really pull anything out because he, the person he was acting with was just so emotionless. So he almost was like he didn't care. That
diner scene. Like, I wanted to fast forward through that with just those two talking for a period of time. Yeah. I was like, what is happening? And that's go ahead.
Yeah, and his drunk scene. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know if he was going to try to make out with her or what was going on. It was just such a weird off scene. It's like, I understand why you don't drink, but It would have been different if we would have. It's like, like the character wise, I don't know. It just everything about it was just for between those two, nothing really worked.
Which
I mean,
is sad because they were the stars.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed story wise what happens. Well, not what happens to him, but where it ends up story wise. Like I enjoyed that part with the partner, but just just their, back and forth didn't do anything for me. Even his, and again, even his, I don't want to just put it all on Mary J, but even his acting I thought was off too. Everybody else did great. It was so weird to see all these supporting characters blowing the two main characters out of the water with their acting.
Yeah. Because even like the scene where they actually do the deed to the kid, like we only hear his voice on the body cam, but it sounds awful there too, He's like, "Oh man, what are you guys doing? Should we get help? I need to and I'm not exaggerating. That's what it was. But any standout good things about this movie for you?
Like I said, I guess the story was probably the biggest thing. I think the mother of I don't think we spoiled too much of the other child. Was that storyline that was pretty awesome. Again, the beginning of it starts really good. It starts really, 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 really good with he goes to I don't know if it was a diner or what it was, and just couldn't really get service without a little bit of growth. I mean, that was just well played. And then what happens to him after that in the rain, like you said, with the windshield wipers and all that stuff, all that was great. It had such a good start. It got ruined for me later.
And there's some nice splash. The convenience store scene.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, that was fantastic for me. I really enjoyed that scene a lot. It did not go down how I thought it was going to. Well, yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes put up good.
It appears the critics gave it a 44% splat, and then the audience score is a 54%. So neither one terribly high, but at the same time, they're not like, dead bottom.
Yeah, we've seen some ones.
Yeah. So like I said, I think the like supporting characters and the story was interesting enough to keep people, most people thought it was probably decent, and they probably just let go of the two main characters' lack of, I don't want to say talent because that's not true. But of acting skill in this, because of acting skill in this particular film, just didn't blow us out.
Yeah, just know that if you watch this movie, there will be some scenes where you're just like, your face just kind of contorts uncontrollably. But I mean, if you can make it through it, I think the story's well worthwhile. That's why I'm going to give it a go watch.
Really.
Yeah, I think the story's worth it. I think if you can make it through these, and it's hard because it's the lead character, but I think if you can make it through that, I think it's well worth a watch, because I think they did a great job with the story here. And I love, like I said, I love the setting and the tension that's all around these people. But yeah, that seemed to shock you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to give it a no watch. Even though it had a great start, I say just watch the first 5 minutes and then quit, because that right there, that's where.
But then you'll miss the convenience store scene.
But yeah, or just fast forward then. Just hit those two scenes. Outside of that, I can't. The two main characters ruined it for me. I don't want to recommend something that I feel like people are going to be hurt by. They're gonna start watching this and be like, "This isn't so bad." And what were they talking about? And then all of a sudden, by the end, they're like, "Oh, that's what he was talking about."
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm saying go watch, but it will be a hard watch.
I only want to recommend it if it's really going to be worth it to people. And I just feel like there's a lot of this that's going to do more harm than good, even though there's some good stuff in it. I don't feel like it's worth the watch. If it was like, if it was like, it almost kind of felt like it was just made for TV instead of being made for, what I mean?
But I think if not for those two, I don't think that would have been the case. But sadly, I can't say that, because if wishes were fishes, well, however the rest of that goes, they were in it. But which you're right. Like that could have been on, a network, and because of that. But like everyone else is like trying their hardest. They're like, my shoulders are killing me right now because I'm carrying this so hard.
Right?
But yeah. Damn it, man.
No, can't do it. And they kind of pumped up the whole body cam thing way too much in the beginning. I got it. I understand what the name of the movie is, and they're like really playing into it. Like, I mean, make sure my body cam's on, and pointed at the camera.
Only really is relevant because of the footage for the boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only really relevant.
Yeah, because then it goes away after they blatantly shove it in your face for a few scenes. Then it goes away, and you forget about it until the end. So.
Yeah, because at first I was like, they should call this dash cam because more stuff was happening on the dashboard cams than the body cam. Well, damn, Mary, I tried to defend you.
You're still an amazing artist in your own, right? And I can't compare any way, shape, or form. But this movie was not for me.
Blame the heathen over here. He said all those bad things.
I'll take the hate. It's fine.
Yeah, but that's body cam. If you've seen it, I want to hear what you think. Because we could be way off, but I'm pretty sure we're not. This one. Sometimes I doubt myself with things, but yeah, this one, yeah. But where you can find us at gowatchmovie.com, the one-stop shop for all things entertainment. The stories are there, or get the trailers up there. Everything is there. Podcast, entertainment news, all of that stuff. You can find us on YouTube. The show is on YouTube now, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. You won't see me dancing, but this little guy over there may be doing some little tapping.
I got the moves.
But yeah, I've been posting, our Friday news segments and some of the other shorter promotional content I've been putting on there. Yeah, just another way to spread the love and the entertainment news, the joy of movies to help us escape this bleak world we live in. But yes, that's episode 137. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Go watch a movie.
Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety split it. Go watch a movie.